Tom, and welcome in this morning on a Monday edition here on the Morning Rush. I think a lot of people have been frustrated venting here on this program the performance of the basketball team Saturday afternoon. I think there's a lot of things that you can point to that have gone wrong these last couple of Southeastern Conference games. Is there something, in your opinion, that stands out in particular that they have to fix immediately in order to have a chance against Auburn?
Oh, gosh. Well, yeah, I mean, you could look at a lot of different things, but I want to say their three-point shooting defense is something that has got to get better quick, because Auburn's going to come in here, and they made 15 in the first game, too. So I think that's one of only 3 games that Eric Musselman teams have allowed 15 made three-pointers. Now, Alabama took, 35 or something? So, I mean, they shot a ton, and Auburn shot a ton, too. But the addition of Sharif Cooper makes Auburn a different team than what Arkansas saw when they went and won there in the conference opener. But, man, there's so many things happening. Guys are slumping at the same time. I mean, we already knew Desi Sills was kind of a streaky shooter and prone to some extended slumps and then some hot streaks. But, now Vance Jackson has joined him, had a few good games, and now he's gone cold with his three-point shot. So, a lot of different things they've got to get better at for sure.
When you look at the addition of Justin Smith, you were expecting 3 to 6 weeks. He's back in 15 days. He played about 18 minutes in this basketball game. Tom, how much time, how many games do you think it's going to take for him to get acclimated and back to the Justin Smith that we saw early in the season?
Yeah, certainly a few, because, the ankle probably doesn't feel great.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's good enough to play, but probably not at his best yet. Now, he did have a dunk, and if you might have seen my notes from the game, they went 4 consecutive games without a dunk. And then that just goes to show you how hard they're having to work offensively. They're not getting some break-open pick and roll or a lob pass for a dunk. And they got one. And Tate, he backdoored his defender, and I think it was Jalen Tate who found him, and he got a dunk. So Arkansas needs to have a few more plays like that. And as Eric Musselman noted in his post game, a lot of their offense right now is coming from the half court, called sets and things like that, instead of what he had a term for it, open flow or something, the flow of the game. And in the Auburn game, the 97 points for Arkansas, that was what I called more freewheeling, a little bit more open court stuff, and they were phenomenal in that. So you can bet that Bruce Pearl is going to see what other teams have done defensively, trying to pinch down on Jalen Tate, not let him be as much of a creator, and Arkansas is going to have answers for that in this game.
Auburn, Vanderbilt, Ole Miss, the next 3 for Arkansas. 3 winnable games, but the bottom line is you got to go win them to get right. You got a chance to get your record back to above 500 here.
Yeah.
Tom, can this team overcome what's happened in recent games mentally and win these 3 games? Because they're talented enough, but I don't know that they're capable of doing it right now with all the frustration that seems to have set in with this program.
Yeah, exactly. That's a great question. And, I mean, they've got to get players' confidence back. And you do that by making shots in games. And, I mean, they've got to find ways for Connor Vanover to be productive. The guy's 7'3". He can be a great rim protector for you, and we know he can shoot the 3. So I know that defensive matchups and lateral quickness has been an issue there for him. So maybe they can find a way to help him get going as well. But you're right. The Vandy game on the road now is going to be very dangerous, because depending on what they do in their midweek game, and I'm not sure who they play, they could still be winless in league play, even though they put up some great efforts. And Auburn, is going to be very eager to, get back at them for the conference opening loss. And then Ole Miss, I mean, here's the thing. Arkansas beat Georgia by 30 points. The same Georgia team that in their previous game really had a shot and could have and should have beaten LSU on the road. So you can point to your guys and say, look, we blew this team out. Georgia went and won at Ole Miss. So it's just how you show up on a game-to-game basis. And with hopefully Justin Smith improving and Note getting better, they can find a way to push the right buttons and have more effective performances.
Let's go back and talk about the point guard position. 6 turnovers from Jalen Tate. That's clearly an issue. Coach Musselman excused a couple of those, but still you're at 4 or so turnovers in the ball game. Too many for your point guard position. What are the options? Do you put Desi Seals there? Do you try to improve with Tate? What do you do if you're Eric Musselman and this staff when you're evaluating the point guard position and who handles the ball?
Yeah, that's a great question because everything flows from that. LSU, I thought, did a great job taking Arkansas out of some of the things they wanted to do with that 3-quarter pressing. That it took time off the clock, and it just didn't seem to me like Arkansas was in smooth offensive rhythm in that game, even though they did get some open looks. Note is the second guy, and clearly, because Eric Musselman points it out, his defensive play has got to get better. Because there are times, to me, it seems, when Arkansas is struggling to score, that his first step and beating his guy and getting to the rim has been a good option. So those 2 guys have played the point, and Devontae Davis has played the point some. I don't know how comfortable they would feel for Desi to do that. With him being in a slump, maybe it's not the thing to do, but maybe you just shake things up and give him a few series at the point to see what that does for your offense. But the thing is, Tate's got to get – they've got to be able to get Tate clearer drives to the basket so he can draw defenders and dish.
Tom Murphy with us here on the Morning Rush. Tom, we got a text in from Roger. How would you grade this team's effort, energy, and enthusiasm lately in these last couple ball games?
Yeah, I asked Eric that question on post-game on Bama. What are you seeing from your team from the body language standpoint? Because you want their heads to be in the game. You don't want to see guys turning their backs in the huddle and things like that. And I didn't see any of that. But you do worry about, that type of thing. So I think this next game is going to be a huge challenge. Can you get Vance Jackson back going again? Can Justin Smith give you more minutes and the type of rebounding you need from him? Here's the thing. He's trying to play 8, 9, 10 guys, and so he'll have options. And Jalen Williams give you more minutes and better minutes like he had done in the previous games. So, I don't know. There is a lot of frustration. I went back and looked, though, at back-to-back losses of double figures, and under Mike Anderson, his last 4 years as a head coach, they had one set of games like that each of those 4 years. So it happens, and the last time it didn't happen was that team that finished second in the league. I believe it was the 14-15 team. So it happens, and it's how you respond to it that's going to be telling for the Razorbacks.
Tom, let's switch it up, talk a little NFL, as we had some great divisional games yesterday. The matchups are set. Brady, Rodgers in Lambeau, and then Josh Allen and hopefully Patrick Mahomes in Arrowhead. How excited are you for the quarterback games that we get to watch this weekend?
Yeah, that's all good stuff, and yeah, I really hope Patrick Mahomes can come back because now they're my de facto home team since my Falcons have been so pitiful. But, hey, look, shocker last night. The Saints turned the ball over 4 times. And the reporting is that will be Breeze's final game. It's doggone Tom Brady that just has a way in the postseason. And they didn't start very well, but they kept with their game plan, and they were able to run the ball. So the Bucs are going to be a force. Look, Green Bay has been a really good team. To me, somewhat under the radar because I don't think they have a ton of superstars outside Rodgers on offense, but they're at home, and the Bucs are not used to playing in that type of weather. So I would favor them. And then, of course, the Chiefs-Bills, I'm happy that the Bills are playing well again, and they made some good moves with Sean McDermott, head coach, Josh Allen, coming along as a quarterback. That's going to be fantastic. It's the older guys in the NFC and the younger guys in the AFC.
In the game last night with Brady and Brees, Brady comes away with a win, and there was a lot of turnovers in that ball game and interceptions. Mm-hmm. Brady had at least 2 and maybe a third. One that was a trap ball and ruled incomplete. Another one where
Marshawn Lattimore should have picked
the foot didn't get down. Brady was easily just a hair away from 2 more interceptions himself. He'll have to clean up his play this week, Tom, in order to give his team a chance.
Yeah, he will. I mean, he's not the same Tom Brady as he has been for all those other playoff games and the miracle comeback against my Falcons a few years ago. But still, a heady dude and a great leader. And this team, man, the Bucs they're going to be formidable.
Yeah, but clearly a guy that, because of his name, because of his presence, because of who he is, makes everyone else around him believe they can do it. That's the reason they're in the NFC Championship game.
Absolutely, the leadership there. And look, their defense played a really good game against the Saints team that, has a lot of weapons. Mm-hmm. So that, to me, that's the deal. The Bucs played really good defense, too.
No Taysom Hill for the Saints yesterday. I wonder how much of a role he would have played. Tom, before we let you go, you brought up your Falcons several times. They hire the Tennessee Titans offensive coordinator, Arthur Smith, who did a wonderful job with Tannehill, Henry, and those guys this year. Thoughts on the hire, man, before we let you go?
He did. I mean, not a super long track record, but I guess teams that you've seen the success of younger guys like McVay and McDermott, and these offensive wonderkind guys are getting shots. And he's got the same first name as our owner, Arthur Blank. So maybe that played a role. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. They've just got to somehow inspire what's a good collection of offensive talent to have a better season next year. And we got to be better defensively. But, hey, that's a tough division. I don't think the Saints are really going to go anywhere. They'll find an answer for Breeze, and they have a good collection of talent, and the Bucs are really solid. And the Panthers are coming along. So the time will tell on Arthur Smith.
Yeah. Hey, let me ask you this on the way out the door, and then we'll let you go. Auburn, Vanderbilt, Ole Miss, this 3-game stretch. Will this determine whether or not Arkansas is going to make the tournament, how you perform in these 3 games? Because if you don't do well here and you go 0 for 3, it seems like there's no way you're going to make the tournament. It seems like you got to go at least 2-1, maybe 3-0 to set yourself on the right course. What do you think about that take that maybe this 3-game stretch is going to determine which way the season goes and perhaps whether or not you can make the tournament in March?
That's a strong take because think about it. If they lose some of these, then it's going to hurt your net. Right now, their net held on because those were tough road games. But if you lose one of these, then it starts dropping into that bubble range or perhaps even worse. So you really need to go 3-0. You need to get another road win at Vanderbilt because there are a lot tougher games down the road. And Kentucky's still to come, another return game against Bama, return game against LSU, and a road game at Missouri. There's still a lot of tough games.
Yep. Tom, we appreciate it, buddy. We'll let you go, and we'll talk recap Auburn and some other stuff coming up this Thursday, bud.
Sounds great. See y'all.